residents that will, oh boy, that's going fast, donate their resources and their time. They like to spend time, including spending money locally at our small businesses, and I think that's a benefit to our town. I guess I'm done.
Thank you. Next, Clayton Corey.
Thank you. So, back when the town was initially planned, the plan was for about 70,000 residents here. And that, I don't think everybody realizes, and that changed pretty quickly. And the lot sizes were changed so that we would kind of cut that in half. But what happened was, while we were developing for 70,000 residents, we started developing wide streets, a lot of commercial properties. So when we cut that in half, we ended up with all these extra commercial properties to support a lot more people, but we're never going to get there. So I think one of the advantages that we have now is shifting and converting a lot of the commercial properties that we have that are either vacant, empty, or there's just an empty lot, and convert those into some mixed use that a lot of the younger families actually like. The younger families, the taste has changed, the finances have changed, and they're looking for different things than my parents were looking for, different things that I was looking for. So we have a lot of opportunity in this community to convert and change some of the older commercial properties into mixed use, and that also is going to bring vibrancy into the community where they can live and shop and work very close to their homes. So I think that's definitely an area of opportunity for us.
Thank you. Next is Rick Watts.
Can I have 10 minutes instead of 30 seconds? I think there's a lot of opportunity here. I think it starts with the fact that we've got to recognize that first and foremost, we all moved to this town for one reason, and that's because it was a family-friendly, upscale community. And I think once we own that, then that starts the process. I do think that we can grow the town from our 24,000, 25,000 to something less than $30,000 by the proper use of planning and zoning, rezoning in certain areas, looking at high density. Some of those high density areas are going to be driven by commercial. The commercial aspect are going to provide higher income for those employees, helping the TAMA group design and work through maybe developing a co-op to increase their bottom line margins by reducing their overhead. Thinking the difference between fixed costs and variable costs, that will help promoting the TAMA group to be able to take advantage of some of those issues. I do think that in the long term, we ought to also look at the state trust land and figure out how we can entice 2 or 3 developers to co-op and buy that land and develop it. That's a huge undertaking. And I think we need the expertise in our town staff to be able to have that conversation with CEOs of corporations of our size to be able to provide the finances to do that. It takes some initiative on our part. It takes the experience of a leader to be able to have the conversations comfortably with a CEO to be able to say, here's the benefits, here's how we'll support you. Developing incentives and helping the Avenue of the Fountains, developing something with the Plat 208 is another option. Those folks, 100% of them need to agree on something before they do anything, but we need to figure an enticement to help them change their mindset.
Thank you. Next, Matthew Corrigan.
Well, I think going back to the Old Testament, I might do that. Because in Job 12:12, wisdom is to the ages, and they are many of days. 59.7 years is not a bad age. That's our average age here in Fountain Hills. Let's be proud of that. Let's grow around that. Our average median income is $100,317. That's not bad either. We're one of the wealthiest communities around. And I will tell you that all of us moved here for a reason. It may not have been affordable housing. It may have been our last best dream home and dream opportunity. We have an unbelievable amount of volunteerism here in Fountain Hills. And so a lot of our costs are held down because of that. And everybody participates. That's a unique thing. This Fountain Hills community is a real gem. It's a gem of the desert, and we need to maintain a lot of that. Now, to answer the question about how to grow, 26,000 is a pretty good growth topping. How do we do that? We've got available land downtown, plenty of empty lots. There's opportunities to go back to that issue of state trust land. Now, in 2016, it didn't work out so well because Elman, unfortunately, was not the right choice for a builder, and things fell apart. But the opportunity is there again. We should look at it. We should look at all opportunities. How about that new Discovery Center? Amazing, huh? New opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Robert Wallace.
Well, I think 30 to 35,000 people here is a fair population. We do have the issues of bringing in families, making it accommodating to families. In some cases, I've spoken to people and they feel like, hey, I would like a park closer to me, within walking distance, something within my neighborhood that will keep me and my kids local. So I'm not having to go into town or go down to the fountain in order to, play and have a good time daily. And then we have the economic development issue of accommodating businesses, which require more consideration with regards to the kinds of rules and ordinances that we have in place that negatively affect their ability to do business. And so, in order to draw people in of a younger age demographic, families, I think we need to be more accommodating to how we develop this area. This has been considered the third best place to retire in Arizona, and it's got a great feel to it. But if we want to bring in younger families, we need to think about how we can make it a nicer place for people with kids, and also for businesses who are struggling to excel at what they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Councilmember McGann.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Yes, our population is at about 24,000 right now, which hasn't grown. And lack of growth affects our economic vitality and the sustainability of our future. But often people go, we don't want a larger population. But population growth doesn't have to be bad or incompatible with our town. We have a beautiful town, a vast array of ages in our community. We have to look towards the next generation to be our future leaders. We need younger families to support our schools. We need younger professionals here to have innovative new businesses. And we also need to get more growth and more businesses in town so that we can have more population and growth. A lot of people have asked about having Trader Joe's or Sprouts here. However, they don't build unless there's population growth and not stagnant. So I think that we need to still attract businesses so that we can have growth in population and be more sustainable. And also, I think our population is going to be smaller growth because it will be within our natural boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to question number 2. Fountain Hills is one of the safest cities in Arizona and enjoys very low crime levels compared to other neighboring cities. What is your plan for working with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office to ensure that both violent crimes and property crimes remain low in our community? We will start with Matthew Corrigan.
Thank you. I think, unfortunately, although we have great, maybe the best sheriff's officers here in Fountain Hills, I think the contract, in my opinion, was left a lot on the table. And I think we left about $3.5 million on the table. That's unfortunate. Rio Verde, Goldfield, and Tonto Verde pay about that much for sheriff's officers. And that's kind of